from Bob Jones High School Media Center, and I am coming to you today to show you how to evaluate resources on the internet. We are not going to do the crap test. We are going to do something a little bit different, something that's more helpful and useful than the crap test. And it's a lot easier to do because I've got some tools already saved for you so that you guys can do this hopefully quickly, efficiently, and effectively. So let's get started. Okay, so first of all, I want to show you where you can access all these cool tools. On Bob Jones' homepage, if you look just directly underneath that slideshow, the little book icon that says library, it will take you to Atrium. And Atrium is our OPAC, our online public access catalog, whatever. And it has all this information. So the link that I'm going to show you is here in Symbaloo. It also gives you information, your login. If you were to log in, it's the same as your computer username and password. I do, however, want to show you one thing that will help you out. If you look at the list tab, I have two lists right here. The first one is my quick picks. That's mostly fiction. But if you click on this hyperlink over here that says library list, the third entry where it says current events, current issues, research, these are 227 volumes of essays. They have opposing viewpoints, which means that of all the essays that are in there on that particular topic, there is one that is for it and one that is against it. And so you see both sides of the issues. And these are like an absolute gold mine when you're doing this type of research. So let's see that I wanted to do free speech. Okay, well, this popped up. And we're going to go. So I searched within those 227 and found 7 of these volumes that have information about free speech. So most of the time what I do when I'm cataloging these books is I'd like to put the table of contents, all of the essays, the list of essays that are in there. So this has multiple essays. Keep in mind that each one of these essays is a source, not just the one book. So if there are 12 whatever essays in this book, these are 12 separate sources. The chances of you using all 12 are probably slim, but I can imagine that you would use at least 2, one for the issue and one against the issue. And so these are like these, it's about free hate speech, but they're specific nuances or issues about free speech. So they're very, very helpful. So that is the list that I have curated for you. And I'm going to take you back to the home tab to get you to Symbaloo. So Symbaloo is an amazing little feature here. So the Symbaloo Web Mix, this is what I created for you guys. Some of you have seen this before. I update it all the time. One thing I want to show you for now is we're going to look at this research resources folder, but I want to look at the style guides first. So we've got the new MLA, it's MLA 9, that was effective in April. And I want to show you this new little super cool tool. I was using my bib, not real crazy about it. So I found Bib Citation, which is amazing because it is probably one of the most accurate citation tools that I've able to use. And I use a bunch of them. Actually, I can do a citation from memory, but this is for you guys, not me. So this little button right here that says add to Chrome, it will add this little extension. Just know that when you click on the little puzzle piece, make sure that you have next to that extension that your little push pin is blue, and it will pin it to this little bar up here. Okay. So that is Bib Citation. I'll show you in a minute when we do a big Google search how cool that super little tool is. All right, so in the research resources folder, I've got a bunch of this is your toolkit, okay? So I have some fact checkers. I have some types of media bias. There are 11 of them. It's really awesome. How to spot it. All sides, just facts, perspective, and procon.org. Amazing, amazing resources. A lot of these have news. Then I also have in here the media bias chart and fact check bias chart. Yes, fact checkers. Who's checking the fact checkers? Okay. Well, this chart right here will tell you which the best, most centrist fact checkers are. and it's in this little center list. This is why I like all sides, because you do get all sides of the issue. Snopes is one of those that it started off investigating like the Loch Ness monster and kind of internet hoaxes and things like that, and then it turned into more like fact checking facts, whatever. But stick to the ones that are in the middle. I've used most of these. I've not used lead stories, but I've used the majority of these, and they're all basically, about the same. I've got a link to the dispatch just because I like the layout. It was pretty easy to read. And that's that little link right there. Then there's also the all sides media bias chart. Yes, media is biased. We know this. It's all in the news everywhere. So why is it important to know? Well, when you're looking for facts and you're trying to find the best and verify these sites for valid, truthful information, and I'll tell you that there's not a single site out there, even the ones that are in the middle, that are 100% bias free. Okay. But these that are listed in the center are the majority. Most of the stuff, it's mostly free from bias. Okay. So then you've got the center, you've got left leaning, that's the light blue L. This is far left, then right leaning, and then far right. Now, why does this matter? Well, if you're doing a current events issue, you might want to stick to the center, but I would almost say I want to get one of the position from the left, and I want to get the viewpoint or position from the right, because you can take both sides of that information and synthesize it, just swish it around in your little brain and make up your own mind and form your own opinion and use that to support your position that you're arguing. Okay, so it's a beautiful thing. All sides is my favorite. I guess you haven't figured that out. I just I just love it so much. So if you look, they've got a story right here, and right here from the center, from the right, and from the left. So it's the same article, three different news sources, and so you're getting a little bit of a different perspective. It's the same story, but it's a little bit different perspective, and you could probably see the ones that are left leaning or right leaning. Okay. So let's say that I wanted to, I'm still going to stick with my free speech thing. Okay. So I'm going to look for free speech. This is what I'm doing. And so here's all these different topics, and you can see that this one has multiple articles, and it will show you the C, the L's, and the R's. Okay. And so let's say that I'm just going to click on this first one. Okay. Balanced information. So this featured whatever, should colleges protect students against harmful hates or harmful speech, or would that harm their ability to build resiliency? And so these are exploring all these arguments. So I'm going to click here under this little featured stance. Okay. So then it gives me different perspectives and different stances and multiple arguments about free speech. So, like, if we were to say, like, maybe I'm arguing for free speech on college campuses. Okay. So, restrict some speech to protect the vulnerable. Colleges should not limit. Colleges should limit some, but not the ideas. They should promote acceptable speech. They should promote free speech and debate. Okay. So you've got all these different perspectives. And then at the bottom of each, it says see the arguments. So we can click here, and they're actually all, thank you for verifying my Outlook. They're actually all right here. Okay. So these are 5 different stances. And so, here's some different arguments for that. Now, you notice that the hyperlinks, if you look at the very bottom of my screen off to the right, when I scroll over it, it says that this is www.aclu, okay, .org. And this one is the Atlantic, and this one is the Knight Foundation, okay? And so it gives me a bunch of different sizes. So let's say that I'm going to click on this article, okay, the ACLU. Now, what do they want me to do? They want me to donate. No, thank you. So this article is about free speech on campus. Now, just because it's on all sides, that site does not make it 100% bias free. So what is the ACLU? Now you can go here and look at the about page, but I promise you, it's guys, it's kind of like setting up a Tinder profile. Not that you guys have done that, but and I haven't either, but it's like if you have a social media profile, you're going to put out there for the public to tell them what you want them to know about you or what you want them to think about you. Now, is that 100% true? No. I mean, I could say that I'm 6 feet tall and I'm a former supermodel, but that's completely false and far from the truth. But I could say it, but that doesn't make it true. So I'm not going to take their word for it. I'm going to go out here on the internet and I'm going to look for myself. So I'm just going to do a little Google search. We're doing some fact checking. So we're going to look at the ACLU. So that's the American Civil Liberties Union. And it gives you that it's a nonprofit. Okay, I get that because it's got a .org, and it gives me some other information. Now, I know that we have told you a million times, don't go to Wikipedia. No, I love Wikipedia. I don't use Wikipedia and cite it in research, but I love Wikipedia for just basic information. So it gives you some information about when it was set up and this kind of stuff, okay? The overview, the leadership, and then it gives you some of these people. And so this person is the executive directors, American Civil Rights, okay, the civil liberties, okay, the funding, and all the stuff. And you're kind of going through and kind of checking to see this information. Now, I've got this on Wikipedia. I love Wikipedia. But if I take you right back here to Symbaloo, okay, then there's this other site that's called Influence Watch. And this site is essentially, it shows you where the money goes and who's donating to which companies. So if I type in ACLU, um, I just want the American Civil Liberties Union. That's the foundation. Let's see if I can just do American. And see what we get. Okay. This is what I'm looking for. So it tells you that it's a nonprofit. So I can click on it and it tells you that it's a nearly 100-year-old left-leaning activism organization that focuses on issues related to civil liberties. And so it is left-leaning. Not that that's a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination, but it is good to know that if I read this article and use it, that more than likely it's written by this whoever's written this article, and their affiliation, that is going to have a little bit of a left leaning slant. Okay, that's important for me to know so that when I get additional information, I might want to pull from something that is like right leaning slant. Okay, but you're just getting that perspective of what it is they're trying to do. So if you get like super far left and super far right, chances are there might be a little bit of propaganda going on there, and I might steer clear. That's really hard to say, of those sites. So I'm looking at this information. I've vetted this source. I mean, they're legitimate, over 100 years old, and it gives. They're kind of doing a little Q&A. Does the First Amendment protect speech that invites violence against members of the campus community? And so here's some information. If you notice that throughout this article, you see these like hyperlinked words. So when I click on this one, it says the Supreme Court ruled in 1942. When I click on that word, I see that this is taking me to Wikipedia. If you look at the bottom left screen in pink, and it's Chaplinsky versus New Hampshire. So that is their citation. That's where these websites are doing. Instead of having like a sources or a works cited at the very bottom, these are almost like footnotes, but they're linking to their sources. This one is taking you to Wikipedia again. This one and this one and this. Okay, so you get the idea. So let's say that I'm like, I found a little nugget of information I'd like to use from this particular article. I want to cite it. So I can go up here, remember my little citation generator, and I wanted to select, I don't think it's default, but you want to select the MLA 9, and it prompts you. This is what I love about it. It prompts you to add an author if it doesn't find one, and then it looks for the date. Well, I can scroll down to the very bottom and I do not see an author and I do not see a date. So this is actually going to be my citation. Okay. Sometimes the way that the author's name is embedded, it won't show up. And so you can just add it because it'll be right there. Okay, so let's say I got that article. That's pretty cool. So then I can go back here and I can look at another one if I want to. So the Atlantic, this is where this one is coming from. And so if I'm looking here for this article on the Atlantic, then I don't know very much about the Atlantic, but I do know that this is a signed article. So when I do my little citation, it should show up, and there it is. Okay, and that is correct citation. So this one is giving me some information, but I don't know that much about the Atlantic. So I'm going to kind of search this, right? And you know where I'm going to go? Wikipedia, the Atlantic. I know, isn't that counterintuitive? Why is my teacher telling me to go to Wikipedia? Because Wikipedia is pretty good. Not for research, but for what we're researching it is. Okay, so this is giving me the information about the Atlantic. Okay, it's an American magazine, literal cultural magazine. Okay, these are some of their popular issues. Um, they've got a lot of history. That's pretty old. Look how old. That's like really old. Okay, um, and so um, then we want to go politics. The they endorse Abraham Lincoln. Good choice. Okay, and then 2016 they endorsed Hillary Clinton. And then okay, so you can see that they've kind of getting involved in politics a little bit, but the most important part of this is that I just want to know if this is like an accurate, legitimate, like authorized source that I can use. And so it's long-standing, 1857. I mean, that's pretty amazing stuff right there. Okay, so I saw the little bit about politics, which probably means that it's a little bit left-leaning. So again, I just want to take that in consideration while I'm looking for this article. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. So let's say that I really like this article. Super. I can go ahead and cite it and boom, put that on my works cited page and I'm ready to go. And just know that one thing when you're doing anything on the internet is that if you use the Control F or Command F if you're on a MacBook, it will open up that little find window and you can just start searching for your search terms. Okay. And keep in mind, it's easy to make sure that you have a list of those kind of terms that you want to kind of research. Okay. So I've got this information. So there's multiple articles here that I can be looking at. Okay. But what if I just wanted to go out on my own and do a Google search for free speech? Okay, so I'm just going to look free speech on college campuses and see what we get. Okay, so we've got several articles. I see the one from the Atlantic, and okay. Oh, look at all these videos. Okay, so I don't want to see these videos. Let me show you a cool little trick. So if I come up here and I hit the hyphen or the minus sign, it acts as a minus, and I don't want to see these videos from YouTube, I just put hyphen in front of YouTube and it will subtract all of those YouTube videos from my results. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so when I'm looking at some of these articles, I can look at um, this one from uh, MTSU. That looks like that's probably it's EDU, which means that's a college campus. Um, the I'm looking the Knight Foundation. Okay, this one, FAS.org. I really don't know what that is. So I'm going to investigate. Let's see what it says. Federation of American Scientists. I'm going to copy that real quick. And then let's see what they have to say about this on Wikipedia. Okay, so it's a nonprofit global think tank. Okay, history, 1945, so it's got a little bit of history. Um, there's some funding from the MacArthur Foundation, who also gives the big MacArthur grants. If you guys, science people, know anything about that. Okay, so I'm still not 100% on that one. So when I come back here, if I look in my research resources, I'm going to look back here at the Influence Watch where we were earlier. And I'm going to see if I can search some information about that. See, I just copied and pasted that from the little title from Wikipedia. Let's see. Oh, look, there it is. Okay, Federation of American Scientists, nonprofit research advocacy relating to global technology. Okay, so that looks pretty legit. So if I come back to my search page, I kind of look at this. So it's a PDF. So I'm going to click on this one. So this article is in PDF form. And of course, you can always save this to your Google Drive. And then I'm looking, that's pretty, that's not so long ago. It's a little over a year. And there's some information, okay, here. That's a pretty good article. Okay, let's read this disclaimer. Let's see, what does it say? Prepared by the Congressional Research Service. Okay, nonpartisan, shared staff to congressional committees, a member of Congress. So this is, they're doing this research and these reports for and reporting to the United States government. So this is like about as legit as you can get for some research. So I'm definitely going to use that article. I think that would be that's a great source to use. As you can see, we're just going through and going through and going through all these different articles. We can do our little Google search. We can do our double checking. And we can also go back here and we can check the dispatch. We can click on the dispatch and we can check a claim that somebody is making about free speech on campus. That that is easy to do. The other thing I do want to show you, however, is the 11 types of media bias. And you can just kind of scroll through these, but they just give you some, this is why it's so important, is that they give you some language, like the certain language that you can look for. And when you're talking about, like, I know you've talked about tone and specific words meaning certain things, but like these are spin words and phrases, okay? Instead of saying, that they're dramatic, they mocked, they raged, they lashed out, okay? Those are highly evocative and emotional words that more than likely are going to show some bias towards the subject. And then they give you some information down here. So they underline this word gloat that was in that article. They give you a definition, and they underline some of this other stuff. And they're giving you, like, why is this spin? Some unsubstantiated claims. In other words, that it appears to be fact, but there's no evidence linked to it to support it. Okay, it's just like making a statement and nothing to back them up. So, and they're showing some examples here. And so they go through all 11 of these words that subjective statements. Okay. It would seem it's dangerous. Okay. So these are some of these key words that you want to see. And again, they're showing you and explaining all of these examples, which I think is absolutely fabulous. Fabulous for you guys, because sometimes it's really hard to tell if somebody is legitimate or if they're really trying to, I'm going to go back to this search, if they're trying to, pull one over on you. Okay. So as we're going through, and we can look at all of these different sites, Real Clear Education, I don't know much about that. The Conversation. Okay. Well, what is the Conversation? Not profit media outlets. Okay. So they opinions, Creative Commons license. Okay. They launched in Australia. Let's see. I'm just looking. They publish fact checks, then blind peer reviewed. Okay. So it's not so bad. All right. So I'm going to go over here and let's see what article they have. And already I don't like the way this looks. Sorry, it's just me. But you just have all these different articles here that I'm going to have to go and vet all of these people and all of these things. And I just, honestly, I don't feel like doing that right now. And I'm just telling you, I know how you guys are. You're like, I don't feel like going through all that. That's too much work. I just want to go and stick to this. That's fine. That's more than fine. Just as long as while you're going through, you want to make sure that you understand who is behind that information. What evidence do they present to support whatever information is on that website, be it like, with hyperlinks or whatever sources. And then what do like some of these reputable sources say about that? So like I'm looking at the Influence Watch, I'm going to my fact checkers, I'm going to Wikipedia even, and I'm double checking to see, is that I'm authenticating that sponsor and their expertise, the organization or the author of that information. And so those are some of the things that you really want to pay attention to when you're doing all this. And more importantly, why are they sharing this information with you in the first place? I mean, is it there to inform you, to give you information, or are they trying to persuade you to do something or believe some specific way or believe their side versus somebody else's side? Okay, so some of these other sites, Just the Facts, the Perspective, those are really, really similar to All Sides, although I really like All Sides. But then we come to procon.org, and I'm just going to sling through this one really, really quickly and then let you go because I know you probably have other things that you would rather be doing. But you can look at one of these lists or you can do a search. I wonder what would come up if we did. Well, no, I like this one. I just saw it. Ban books. Okay, I'm sticking. This is still a type of censorship. So when you click on one of these links, they give you an overview, some of these arguments, and some of these discussion questions. And sometimes over on the right-hand side, they'll have like a little poll that you can take part in. So they give you some basic information, general information. Granted, it started in about 1990, and they have been tracking the ALA, the American Library Association, has been tracking claims for challenging books or actually banning those books from public and school libraries, including, academic universities. And so you get this overarching question: should parents and other adults be able to ban books from schools and libraries? And so you say, yes, they should. No, they shouldn't. But that's very simplistic. And right here, they give you like, here's the pro and here's the con. And if you notice, there's these little hyperlinks that take you to their sources. So this is a direct quote, and that is the source for it. So how does that help you? Well, you just click on the sources and boom, you've got some extra information and other sources that you yourself can use in your research. Okay, right there. And so, yeah, that's a little chart. That was from last year. But you can read through both sides, and you can take a little bit from this side and a little bit from that side. But just know that I don't know that you're actually going to cite procon.org, but you might cite, he was number 20, Finlow Rohrer in his Why Are Parents Banning School Books? Okay, that was published in BBC on the 27th of September. Okay, so that's the source that I would use. And I would actually go straight to that source and see, hey, is there any other information I could use from that? So this is like a good starting point, a jumping off point that kind of gives you some ideas, some little perspective, some different stances to take while you're doing the rest of your research. So that's basically all I have for you right now. Okay, I know it was kind of long, but there was a lot of information that I had to get to you. So just know that Symbaloo folder, the research resources, has all of those little tools for you that are ready for you to use to be able to go out on your own, to use all sides, or to do a Google search of your own and vet all of those sources for accurate, authentic information and know that if they are biased, know which side they are, so that you can kind of take that information and know that you need to find some sort of balance, because it is an argument and you always need to have both sides of the story. So I am here for you if you have questions. If you want to run up here and ask me questions about a certain site or how to vet something a little bit better, just know you can always find me up here in the Media Center. And that's all I have for you today, guys. And hopefully I will see you guys on Friday. Talk to you later. Bye.